Welcome to the Rod and Cyndee podcast. How are we doing today, Cyndee?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you, Rod?
Very good. Thank you very much. So, you know what? I'm looking around here. We're in a studio. We actually get to do our podcast in the studio, not in the back of your car. So I'm really excited about this.
I know. We're actually in someone's living room. It's really pretty wonderful. They have a great little home. And
it's not their home. It's their studio.
Yeah, we'd like you to call this our studio.
The studio.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yes, we're in a studio.
Sorry, my bad.
Yes, we never tell anybody we're in the back of your car when we're doing it back there. So.
No, we don't. Absolutely not. But I'm super excited, though.
I'm stoked here. So who do we have here, Cyndee? Are they your friends or are they my friends?
Well, they start out with your friends first, and then you introduce them to me. Now they're our friends. So why don't you introduce them?
Well, I surely will. Thank you. And you're Cyndee Movie, by the way, right?
I am Cyndee Movie, yes.
You're not going to be Cinderella or anything else today?
Always Cinderella. Come on. Really,
Yes.
Rod?
So because you guys can't see this, Cyndee today has orange in her hair.
I do.
She has a streak of orange in her hair. It's like half pumpkin head,
Yes.
which is kind of cool because, you can pull that off, the pumpkin
It's very autumnish.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. It is.
Season.
Yeah, I feel like Jackie, right?
head.
Yes.
Oh, lantern.
Yes.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah, I was having crazy hair today, and my mom said, "Hey, just add some orange to it and have fun." I'm like, why not, right?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Good flash.
So with just Cyndee's hair and everything else, then let's move on to this lovely couple that's across from us. That's sitting straight across from us in this beautiful studio. Okay,
Yes.
we have the one and the only Dave.
Hi, everyone. I'm David Marsh, and with me is the sweet Lady Gail. Gail, say hi.
Hi, everyone.
So what a sweet couple. I love it. And I keep saying Dave. Is it all right if I call you Dave, or you want it to be David?
No, I'm Dave. Just don't. You can call me Dave or David. Just don't call me late for dinner. You know the saying.
Absolutely. And it's okay to call you Jane.
No.
Oh, you're
Wrong
Gail.
one. Wrong one. Yeah.
I'm just trying to get. Cyndee makes up different
Well,
names.
yeah, but I mean, Jane. Come on. That makes me think of the little action figures.
Actually, David kind of looks like Tarzan, so I was thinking
Tarzan and Jane.
Tarzan and Jane. That's what I.
Now
that's
there
what I
you
got.
go. Okay.
Meow.
Meow.
I'm
Exactly.
thinking the little army figure.
No.
Army Jane.
No, that's part of spirituality is seeing the positive of things, seeing the positive brightness. It's like somebody calls you a name, think positive about it. Really, I'm the Michelin Man. Awesome. I was in Ghostbusters.
Nice.
Cyndee always says, "I'm Cinderella." It's like,
Yes.
really? So yes. What happened to Cinderella in that story?
Which part?
Exactly. So, just kidding.
She transformed into someone beautiful.
Right.
As
Well,
we all have that within us.
you have that beauty already, so I don't know how you even transform into anything else.
Still, it's pretty to say.
It is. It's very good.
Yeah.
So of course, the Marshes are actually sponsoring this beautiful podcast. And what do you guys actually do?
Rod, we are exploring the human journey. So I have started an online show, and it's a TV show. It's cameras, lights, action, and it's also a podcast. And it is about my journey to get rid of spiritual anxiety, this religious anxiety that I grew up with. And I would invite the listener to tune in. Our very first episode had Rod Lyman on it. He is amazing.
Oh, I heard he's pretty good.
Yeah, I heard he's pretty good. So
You gotta tell no when it's going to be released.
by the time this comes out, you'll be able to see something soon, at least on the website. So we're just starting this whole journey, this platform. But the whole thing is about how can I grow and learn and get away from the negativity, away from the stress of like, am I going to be okay? What's going to happen when we die and that type of thing? And who are we and where are we going? And I'm learning that there's just light and love. There's happy, joyful things. You don't have to have the fear and the stress. And I want to thank you and give you gratitude for being part of that journey, both of you. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, it's such an honor to be with you guys and talk to you and everything else. You enlighten me just by talking to you guys. It's just you light something inside of me, and it excites me over and over. That I know Cyndee was so excited when we were shooting this, and that she was over there just gleaming over there.
I was, and taking pictures too.
She
That's
actually
right.
took pictures.
And video.
And video.
I did.
Nice.
Yeah, snuck that
I
in
bet
there.
you-
She captured the moment.
Capture the moment, but I
I
bet you
did.
won't even see Cyndee in any of those.
Probably not.
So what's the website that they can get
So
this?
if you go to exploringthehumanjourney.com, that's our platform. That's where it's a place for people to find out more information about the show, find a place to connect. And we really want it to be a forum where you can find a sense of belonging, a sense of community, because we're all in this together. And I'm not the only person that's ever had questions. There's millions of people out there. We feel like we were growing and raised in maybe a tradition, a religious tradition, or a belief system. And then as you get older, you're like, wait a minute, this can't be right. This doesn't feel right. There's something that it feels incongruent. And so that's the journey that we're on, to share and have a discussion with people.
You know, we've gone through this, Cindy and I both, and it's really interesting is that we both talked about it. It's like, did we have anybody with us when we were coming out, awakening, going through this process and everything?
Yeah.
We did. Cyndee had me in the aspect, and I had a guru of that. But this is something you have to do on your own. But you become a sponge. You want to find out every information you can, and that's the coolest thing about this is what you're doing is you're going to help people with this. They're going to see this and go, "Oh my gosh, that's right. I'm going through this. I've had this dogma, this stigma on me all my life. I'm changing." And I love the platform and everything that you got going on.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, I think part of it is we want to help other people feel like they can step out and experience and explore and not be afraid of what's going on. And that's what we're excited about.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
I agree. I just want to say, Dave, you're like, let's just say the male version of the Cinderella in transformation. We did a podcast recently about this, how I too was into the religion and, said I just knew something was different out there that just did not feel right.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I got that lightning bolt within and, was awoken, and just like you are, and so you become the seeker. You become this investigator. What is out there? What is this that people are talking about? Or what is this that I might be feeling and seeing? And then so you go out and you seek information, and you suddenly people that will be attracted to you because you are sending that kind of message of energy out there. Like you found Rod and I, through Gail and Wendy and what have you, and that's what it's all about. It's suddenly. All this stuff starts coming to you. These people start coming to you so that you can start, growing within.
Yeah, you're not alone out there. If you've
Absolutely.
got questions,
Absolutely.
there's millions of other people that have the same questions. And we feel weird. We're like, well, I belong to this community, this tribe, and, what are they going to think of me? And it can be hard. You might have to make relationships less important in your life. There might be some people you just can't hang around as much anymore.
Yeah, we call that the dingleberry effect.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, you got to tell them the dingleberry.
Tell me that.
You got to tell you the dingleberry effect. Well, the idea, I came from South Dakota, and we had an orchard in the back. And my grandfather always told me, he says, never eat the first part of the fruit that blossoms and comes out. You don't eat that part. Let it fall to the ground. That's how nature's supposed to work. And I was like, I never understood it. And he says, it's the dingleberry effect. And I'm like, what does that mean? It's like, people laugh every time I say it because I guess other people have different ideas what the dingleberry effect is. The dingleberries are actually the dead fruit. They're not the sweetest. They're not anything else. They're the ones that fall to the ground first. They fertilize the ground for the rest of the fruit to grow.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're called dingleberries. And so what happens in our life and our time in that is as we grow and we expand and we learn and everything, people start becoming our dingleberries.
Mm-hmm.
They fall away. And they help us grow because we learn from them.
Isn't that good?
That's really good. I mean, I think everybody's our teacher. You can learn
absolutely.
Something, whether it's negative or positive. You learn what you do or like and what you don't like.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But, like today, and I learned about cups of water. You make sure that you pour your own cup of water. It's an inside joke. Yes. the studio here has these beautiful cups.
Yeah, we gave Rod a cup of water, and apparently there was some sort of a foreign object in it. And I tried to tell him, no, I think that's just a piece
really?
of ice.
No, Dave like, drink it.
I was like, it's just ice, man.
Yeah,
What are you doing? He's like, I don't think it's ice.
No, I don't think it's
That's
ice.
because Dave threw me a bet.
Is that what it was? Oh my gosh.
Poor Rod, he went ahead and tried to drink it, and he goes, it's not ice.
It's not ice. I thought it was an oyster as it slid down my throat.
Gail tried to kill him before he
that's
got
all
going. Oh.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all good. But we learn lessons, there's lessons in that. So in the spirituality sense of that, what would that lesson be? If we took everything as a lesson, what would that lesson be?
Don't trust anything unless you feel like. I think your intuition was like, no, I don't think I should.
It was,
that.
exactly.
You didn't listen to your own
No,
intuition.
I did.
I absolve all
Dave.
responsibility.
I listened to
myself.
Dave. That was my problem.
You can trust a light on a lighthouse, though.
Oh, really? We're back to the lighthouse? Cyndee wanted to talk about lighthouses today. Who's an expert here at this table that's at lighthouse?
Cyndee.
Apparently, Cyndee is.
Yeah. Well, you said think of something to talk about. That's the first thing that came to my mind. Isn't that what you go with? Always the first thing on your mind.
Sure.
All right.
Think about it. We are beacons of light.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful topic.
So our podcast would go like this. So today we're going to talk about lighthouses.
Hey,
We're gonna have this
light
special
is
version.
bright. So you need to talk and act and feel bright because that's what we are within.
You're funny, honey. Thank you.
Serious.
Okay, we'll start it up then. What about a lighthouse?
That's about it.
Okay.
Okay, we covered it.
All right. Thank you guys. Tune in next week when.
Shortest podcast ever.
Exactly. That was a really quick podcast.
But we do trust them.
Absolutely.
They're out there for a reason.
Yeah.
Just like we are.
Yeah, thank you, Cyndee.
You're welcome.
Nice. All right. So where were we? Oh yeah. So we have this beautiful couple here that they have this wonderful show coming out, and I'm really excited to see this show. It's going to be kind of like the forefront of a lot of things. So I had a question though. Are you thinking that this is going to be made for TV too? Is that what you're thinking about where it's going to?
Well, whenever I do a production, so I'm a videographer, film editor, or video editor, and that's my business. And whenever I do, I think, well, how will this look if it's on TV? So I try to make sure it looks good, it sounds good. I think the most important part is telling story. And what people are going to enjoy about this show is at the beginning, I do a video feature of the guest. And Rod, I did a video feature for you. I got to interview you, hear your story.
I look quite good, by the way.
You're an amazing, handsome fellow, might we say.
Thank you very
It was
much.
very good. It was very good.
And it helps to tell the story, give an introduction of who you are. And it's a way to showcase your gifting, if you will. And so I think that's going to be fun for a viewer to watch. And the conversation translates. Well, I always try to find something that is relatable because we all have these questions of, why are we here? What's this whole thing about? And I think when you're speaking about universal conversation, you're touching a vibration that's within all of us.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. So, Dave, what's your story? I mean, you are this beautiful-looking young man. I mean, you have this bright, brilliant air about you, okay? Your energy looks wonderful. You have a lot of energy more towards the right side, which is more your masculine side, than you do on your feminine side. I mean, so you've got a little bit of imbalance there, but
That's good to hear. Thank
yes,
you.
but well, not always so good to hear.
Uh-oh.
Not when you're trying to pick out a present for your wife. Okay?
Oh,
So anyway,
absolutely.
yeah,
He
not,
doesn't do that.
no,
No, not
to-
very
He
good.
has MES.
all right,
Do
no,
you know what MES is?
no, what's MES?
No.
Small exhaustion syndrome.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
Cyndee has that. I can't believe that there's actually a name for it.
Yeah.
Cyndee, we found out what your disease is now.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow. So basically that means that he gets exhausted just thinking about going to the mall.
When you're sitting there and your significant other is trying on many items and you're just like, oh, I'm so weak. I used to tell her I could go out and work 12 or 14 hours a day, but take me to the mall and I lose all my energy. I have mall exhaustion syndrome.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was crazy. That whole thing just moved back there. Wow, that is interesting. There's some good energy in here. That thing just moved. It just went forward and then went back.
Little bamboo sway
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, it was really cool. I
Awesome.
love that. So back to this mall exhaustion thing. I really enjoy that the concept of that because I get it. I understand that. I love shopping though. I do.
I like it.
I like shopping. So that's that feminine balance that you do. Cyndee may have a little bit too much male energy because she doesn't like shopping as well as I do. When she shops, she likes to shop by herself, all by herself.
Respect, Cyndee. Respect.
She's a hunter,
She's a hunter.
not a gatherer.
Ooh, she's a warrior. So Dave, back to your story that you have this beautiful energy about you. You feel that you're missing something though, in that, and part of it came from probably your growing up of who you were and where you came from. So you're missing something. So a little bit about the energy of it. What is the energy part of that you're missing? Do you feel?
I feel like I'm finding the energy, which is just the voice of the connection. Why are we here? I feel like we're here to connect. I was never taught that. I was raised in a faith-based system that said we're separate from God. God is an entity and He created us, so we're subservient to Him. And whatever, and I do say Him because it was a male authority figure, and whatever He wants us to do is what we need to do. So I was always in this quest of like, well, I don't know. I just want to do what the Lord wants. So people would say, you should plan goals and you should do things. I'm like, oh, I don't want to plan goals. What if I miss it? What if it's not what God wants me to do? And so I lived with a lot of spiritual, or shall I say, religious anxiety. And, I think that the sadness that you have, the depression when you live in a faith-based system and that's all if you only hang out with Christian friends and read Christian books and listen to Christian music and you only drink milk from Christian cows, you just get in this thing where you don't know what you don't know.
Absolutely.
And I had a awakening, and somebody said something, new information. I listened to some content. I read some books. I saw some interviews. I started studying near-death experiences, and I realized there's a lot more going on here than what I was taught.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Gail, what about you?
What about me? We've kind of always been on this journey together.
Yeah, I proselytized her at a young age.
He proselytized me when I was in college, right shortly after we met. And so I was on that same journey and went with it, just kind of went with it and stuff, but I never could share it. I never really could figure out, it just didn't make sense.
Right.
And so, when we started, things happened and stuff shifting in our lives, and I just kind of started to pull away from it more and more. And then as we started to have this new information come in, we just started soaking it up like crazy, and he'll go one direction, I'll go one direction, and it's like we meet together and we powwow about it all.
Yeah.
and what did you learn today? What did you learn today? And it's been a really good journey that we've both been on, and it's just been fascinating, and I've found more joy, more peace, more love than I have ever felt or experienced.
Yeah, I like what you said, Rod, is after you found spirituality, you became closer to God than you had ever been. And
Absolutely.
I feel that same way. I feel like I have more of a connector inside of me with the divine than I used to.
Absolutely. So, to you, because you guys grew up in a religious space, and Cyndee that.
And you as well.
Well, of course, yeah, all four of us have different religions.
Well, Gail didn't grow up with it. She was proselytized.
Oh, that's right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when we were in
But still,
college,
for most of my life,
I told Gail that we had to stop dating because she didn't go to church and I did, and she didn't believe what I believed.
Are you serious?
Literally.
You flipped out the 4 spiritual laws.
I did.
Seriously, did you really?
On
the first date?
Nope.
No.
Oh,
It
We've been dating for a couple months, and
yeah.
I was like, this is getting real serious. I'm really into this girl, but we can't date because the Bible told me not to be unequally yoked.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So
And I'm depressed. I'm trying to figure out who I am. I was, 19?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm an older woman compared to him.
Yeah.
He was 12 and you were 19.
Well, she's a year and a half older than me,
Oh, gotcha.
so
All right.
I always joke that she's the older woman.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. Oh, wow.
But he promised me we could be the same age. So I always say 48, even though he's 47 right now. I just split it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So,
Totally.
different ages. So, just trying to find who I am. I'm away from home. I moved to a different state, and, feeling these emotions and having him tell me these things, and that I'm feeling bad because maybe I'm not doing something right, not doing something good because he can't be with me because of this. Okay.
Wow. That must have been just heart-wrenching.
It was. But, it's like, but I wanted to be with him so much, I was willing to stick my feet in
Wow.
and do it. Okay.
So you jumped in with both feet.
I jumped in with both feet.
Well, I told her, I said, the Bible says we're sinners. Have you ever done anything wrong? She's like, well, yeah, and you're a sinner and you can't be with God. I want to be with God. I said, then you need to have Jesus in your heart. He's going to forgive you of your sins. Well, I want that. And she cried, and then she felt better. We prayed a prayer, and she felt better.
No way. Seriously?
Well, yeah, because think about it. When you have somebody tell you that it's all okay now,
Right.
you're going to feel better.
Absolutely.
Oh, my sins are all forgiven.
Absolutely.
My sins, they're gone.
So
Okay.
I told her something really bad was going to happen, where you have to go to hell and conscious eternal torment. But now you get to go to heaven. So she's like, I get to go to heaven.
I have a question for you, too.
Okay.
So, what is sin?
Yeah, sin was anything that was against the word of God. And you can read the Bible and find out what God does want and doesn't want, because apparently he's a being that has will and volition and agency and has preferences. So you're in this constant anxiety of making sure you get God's preferences right.
But for me, all I knew is, I didn't do something that was a rule that society made. I didn't obey it.
Wow.
I may have, lied, or I drank when I was not 21.
Wow.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was
So
that not served in a church either?
Yeah.
Well,
And
I was dating this boy
Yep.
who apparently I couldn't date. So there again,
Wow.
I was sinning.
So now that was the past sin, what is sin now?
Sin to me is something that I don't feel like it's a thing anymore for me. I feel like the weight and the burden of sin is not there. I don't live with that anxiety because I realize there's things I do that is not a real definition of who I want to be.
Right.
And so if I just rear back and punch you in the nose, I'm like, that was a mean thing. And Rod's sitting there going, why would you punch me? That would be a horrible thing for me to do. I would feel bad because you're my friend.
Right.
So for me, that would not be a clear definition of who I want to be.
Right.
So to me, that would be a sinful thing because it wouldn't be defining who I want to be.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's anything against love.
Oh, very nice.
Right.
Very well put. Yep.
That's kind of how I feel. And
Sweet.
anything that when you have that intuition in you and you go against what you know it's telling you to do, that's when you're getting into that territory.
Do you remember what you said when I asked you what sin was?
I don't. Please enlighten me.
Almost exactly what Gail just said. It's anything against love.
That's great.
But it had a little bit of what you said too. Is it's against what you believe of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
We're all about love. We forgive people. That's our idea, that we see people as love, so we forgive people. And it's like, I forgive you. I'm sorry. I'm sending love. Whatever. But it's against the love, the law of love. And that's the idea. Sin is against the law of love.
That's good.
That's where sin. One of the things Cyndee had actually shared with me as sin, because my feeling of sin right now is feeling bad about yourself. That's a sin, because we're our own temple, we're our own person, we're our own self, man. So within myself, feeling bad about something I did and beat myself up about it, that's a sin. That's paying penance for something I didn't do.
Wow.
Cyndee, I love it. And Gail, you guys hit on the right tone. Is that the thing against love?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And what if you let's just throw it out there too, what if it's life experiences? What if it's karma? Is it really sin? Or is it, taking a a different direction with us.
Well, I was always taught that sin was something that separated me from God.
Right.
And there's nothing I could do about my original sin, so I had to do something. And then I was taught that because sin separated me from God, even though I was, quote, saved and I was going to go to heaven when I die, if I did something that was contrary, then I had separation, so I had to constantly ask for forgiveness. And then as a young person, the altars were always full of us young people because we were always sinning, whether we didn't obey our parents or you name it. There's a myriad of anxiety.
So would they being sinful by telling you all this stuff?
Well,
Judgmental.
They might have been judgmental. I don't know if it was necessarily sinful.
Well, I mean, it's all negative if you ask me personally.
Well, I agree with you. That's a higher level way to view it, and I agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
But you understand, we're not dissing how we grew up and everything else. It made us who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
But these questions that we have, like Cyndee said, life, what is it, karma? What's the difference between sin and a karma? We were told, I was told, anyway, I'm not sure anybody else was told, is that I have to pay for repentance for my father's sins and his father's sins and his father's sins. I was told that.
More.
Yep. So I was paying debts. Now, it also came out to be the idea that if I'm paying for these sins, then is that kind of like putting a spell on me?
Ooh, wow.
Oh.
So then we put in this magic part about that. Now, bring that in, that has nothing to do with religion, right?
Mm-hmm. Magic
has not anything to do, but that sounds like the same thing. I got a spell put on my family. My family crest has a spell. It has this darkness over it because I'm paying for the sins of the sins of the sins. So what's the difference, karma or sin?
That's pretty heavy to put on a young person.
Well, it is. Well, it is. And think about how passionate you guys are and how you feel things. We all feel things. Imagine if we felt this way and sat in a church listening to us that we're going to be damned in hell.
Yeah.
Feeling the way we feel.
I couldn't do it.
No. It'd be sitting in a I can't fly anymore because I feel everybody in the airplane and they scare me. People scare me. It's scary to fly in an airplane. I have sat in churches lately for funerals and weddings and everything else that it's not the same. Nobody is thinking the same thing. People are wondering when it's going to get over with so they can go home and watch the football game, what's being held. They're there for a reason. They're there because they're supposed to be there. It's not that feeling anymore. I don't feel that. So I'm asking, what's the difference between sin and karma now?
Mm-hmm.
Cyndee, what do you think the difference is?
I know that is a good question. I just was throwing it out there.
Well, that is a good question.
It is.
So I threw it back at you. Here, catch Cyndee.
Well, I mean, karma is what? Cause and effect, first of all. So with sin, if you did something wrong, let's just say.
She's using quotations. You can't
Quotations,
see that.
you can't see that. The people on the screen there, hello. I know I lost my train of thought, but so sin, is that then a cause and effect too? I mean, I don't know. It just, to me, it seems like all this stuff is just a crazy mixed up stuff. And honestly, if you just go within and go with your heart and know where we really come from, the source, this light, this divine, this, God or whatever you want to call it, that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
And it's all about love,
Yeah.
So karma, yes, we all have to endure that. No doubt about that. Good, bad, or indifferent. As an individual, as a collective, it doesn't matter. We have to endure, the karmas. But sin, I really don't understand it. Dave, I shared a story real fast. I shared on the podcast is that I did the church thing, and then I kind of got out of it, wasn't feeling comfortable, and then I joined this woman's Bible thing, study, once a month, and gosh darn it, after about the third time going there, I hated it, and I don't like the word hate, but seriously, I felt so wrong. I felt like, my gosh, if I breathed wrong, this is my words, if I breathed wrong, I was sinning. That's how horrible it was. And I'm like, gosh darn, I know there's something better out there. I know there's got to be something better out there. I just knew it and felt it, and then that's, not too long after that is when I had my spiritual awakening. I'm like, wow, cool. This is what it's really about. This is what I've been searching for. This is what I believe in. All that sinning garbage. I'm sorry. We all do good. We all do bad, and maybe it's just what we're supposed to experience in this lifetime.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that instead of sin being defined by outside rules and other people, it really needs to be a self-reflective thing where you allow love to grow so much that it just doesn't have room.
Hmm. I agree. And there is light and dark. You got to have opposites, yin and yang. So I get all that, but there's got to be a point where it's like, okay, enough. I mean, you got to realize that you aren't that bad person. That's what you start feeling like, with all this sinning. You just start to feel like you're this horrible person. Now I'm walking around on this earth.
Yeah.
Am I ever going to do right? Am I ever going to do good?
Yeah.
Can I raise my family? Can I do anything good?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it was feeling like, and I'm sure a lot of people experience that. And it just, to me, it was uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's hard.
Go
It's
ahead.
hard to go in the right direction that's safe for you when you start at the wrong place. And if you start as you're awful, you're a wretch, you're saved by grace but barely in the hands of an angry God, dangling you over the flames of hell. If that's the narrative you're given, especially as a child in those formative years, that messes you up. That's messed up my head for a lot of years.
Absolutely, it does. And what I wanted to say is that one of the things that my grandfather, and I love my grandfather to death, he's a horse whisperer in that, he just lived his life. And that's what he said. He says, it's all about just living your life. He says, you speak from the heart, you don't have to worry about what you say. You feel from the heart, you don't have to worry about what happens. Just live your life. And the thing is that, if my grandpa was alive now, and I'd ask him what karma was and everything, my grandpa wouldn't care. It's the whole concept of that. It's like, I remember when I first learned what Mercury retrograde was.
Mm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, Mercury retrograde. And I went and I talked to my grandfather. It's like, have you ever heard of Mercury retrograde? He goes, no, should I? He says, does it affect me? I said, well, if you don't know it, I don't know if it would affect you. And that's what my concept of thinking of my grandpa is that sometimes we know too much that will actually affect us.
Mm-hmm.
And if we just do just the basics, it won't affect us. Little House on the Prairie, think about that. They had no TV, no radio, and everything else. They went into town once in a while. They got the news that way, It was what the community was happening. It wasn't about everything else. We're bombarded with everything. It's like, you have karma in this, you have to do this, your DNA strand is bad, you have this, that. All of a sudden, there's like 3,000 practitioner things that you can do to get rid of yourself, everything inside you, and you can be better. You can be a better person by taking my class, by doing this, by getting this. You know what? It's what you believe,
Yeah.
and what you truly believe.
Wow, that's good.
And I love that. That's from my heart, is that if you just live your life as being full of love, that's what it is. We talked about Reiki one time. We all did. And Reiki, to me, is that part of just living life.
Mm.
It's not a modality. It's not anything. It's a way of life. It's about finding love. We put the jumper cables on you. You start you up, and you move on and go on. It's not. Reiki. It doesn't say this is the way you got to live. This is what you have to do. There's no rules.
Mm-hmm.
When there becomes too many rules, life is over.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Cyndee, do you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I know. Well, I'm a little OCD about some stuff, so I probably sound like I have some rules.
Oh, Cyndee does have rules.
Sorry. I'm a little bit of a controller at times about some things.
She is, but she makes up for it in other areas. She's a beautiful soul. She has a beautiful love. That's what she makes up. Our whole thing, what we talk about, is love. And I think that's important. So, speaking about love, so we talk about karma, we talk about sin. What truly is love? What is love? Where does it come from? What is the basis of love? Anybody have any idea? It doesn't come
I
from
think
a lighthouse.
love is the opposite of
sin?
self, where you're only concerned about just you. If you're concerned about the other, and if you're like, hey, that other person is the same as me. They want the same thing. They want love and happiness. They want their child to go to a good school. I think if we view other people, how can we view them like we're connected? We're part of this great entity, this energy force. We're all part of the same divinity. If we view them that way, we're like, well, I wouldn't want to steal from them. I wouldn't want to hurt their family. I wouldn't want to take their stuff, because that would ultimately hurt me and we don't want to do that.
Absolutely. As one. That's the whole, the truth and oneness of who we are. I remember growing up where all the neighbors would help somebody. If somebody hurt their leg or something, they couldn't mow the lawn. I'd be over mowing the lawn. I could rake their leaves. I was there. We were all together to help somebody. It's like so-and-so lost his job. Well, first thing that nobody talks about it was adult talk. Nobody told the kids that. But all of a sudden there'd be food at the person's house and everything else because everybody had this thing about, they want to say that they were in a bad place or anything. Nobody wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
But you know what? The community always came together. And sometimes that's all they had. I lived in South Dakota, and I remember times that our town was shut down because so much snow, and you couldn't get out and everything else. We had to crawl out our second-story window to get outside sometimes.
Yeah.
That's how much snow we had. And the whole thought process of that was we went and helped other people. We got out, so we helped other people. We do that. I was thinking the other day, my son's, he's 26 years old now, and if he watched or saw that happen, he'd be taking his phone and videoing it. It's like, look at this guy climbing out this window.
Yeah.
Versus us going, oh my gosh, somebody's out. They're sick to save us.
Yeah.
So it's this world's different. Love.
Mm.
I think that's a community thing. That's that oneness that you just said there.
Absolutely.
Everybody agree? It's back to that. It's that love, that connection.
I was taught that there's no greater love than a man lay down his life for another. And I always thought, oh, okay, but then he's dead. So, and then of course that's a Bible verse and it's saying how, because Jesus laid down his life for us. And I was like, man, it just seems like there's a better way to have love than to have to die to show how much you love for someone. Well, then what? Now you're not around to deal with it.
Share it.
I told Cyndee one day, that was what we just talked about. I said, I had such a hard time with that. I couldn't imagine trying to die for somebody I didn't know.
Yeah.
Why am I dying for this guy? I don't even know him.
Yeah.
It's like, so I got scared about that. Would you die for Jesus? Would you die for God? I don't know. If it's lions are going to be ripping me apart, I think I'd run.
Yeah.
I'm scared of that idea. Is it because I don't believe it enough? But now you ask me, what would you die for? Well, to save somebody else, somebody that I didn't know. And that's interesting. It's like, because I believe in that now, I didn't believe it as a child because I didn't want to be scared into something. I wanted to believe it myself.
Mm-hmm.
True? Would you run if a lion came after you?
Would I run?
Yes.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, she would. I can tell.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
I'd get my golden wings on my shoes and I'd be flying.
I can see Cyndee. She'd tell me, she says,
I have my Nikes on.
you have Nikes on. Cyndee would say, Rod, lay down, play dead. He won't bother you. And she'd take off running.
Yes. And
All she has to do is outrun you,
That's
Rod.
right.
Oh, she could do that too.
Go find breakfast somewhere.
Exactly. Love it. Gail?
Oh, what was the question? Let's see. I'm like thinking
LOVE.
50 different things here. I was thinking about what you said about, what is it laying your life down? And I think, not going literally, you just have to really think that maybe that's not that bad because I'm going to lay my life down so somebody else can maybe advance for a while.
Wow.
That's good.
That is really good. I like that, dear. Give yourself so that somebody can have a better life.
Yeah.
And Gail's very full of love. She's a very selfless person. She's
Right.
a mother of 3, and she spends her energy towards her family to make sure that their needs are met. And so she gives and gives and gives.
Right.
So recently, Gail's been learning that she needs to get and find a place where she can recharge her battery, so to speak. And that's where she's developed her morning meditation practice.
Namaste, my friend.
She's really,
Namaste.
I've seen some just really fun things through her
Absolutely.
world.
But you have to find that peace. And then Cyndee channels all these different energies. And that one energy that keeps telling her is like, find your peace, Cyndee. Take time for yourself. And I think that's part of love, is that we can't hear when there's so much other stuff going on. If we sit in peace, we will actually hear what we need to hear. And things will happen for us.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe it.
And, that was a season. I'm going into another season. So it's time for a change.
It is,
time for
isn't
the
it?
baby birds to start to fly
There you go.
on their own. Every once in a while, a wing gets outside and then it comes back. But
Yeah.
we're trying.
Like, go away.
Go away.
Like
Are-
this morning when my daughter calls, Mom, I can't find my wallet. She's like, I need your mom powers.
Gail has mom powers.
Mom, yes. Well, Cyndee actually has. What is that you say that when you lose something, they're the same? Cyndee
Oh
has the
yeah,
same.
the Saint Anthony,
Yeah.
right? Do you guys know that?
I don't.
Yeah, so it's Anthony, look around, something's lost, must be found. So if you say that over and over, you'll be guided, or you'll hear it, or whatever, and you'll find that item.
Her mom
Totally believes in it.
Believes in it so much because she, 100% of the time, she has found what she's lost by saying that.
Mm-hmm.
She truly believes it. Now, there's things that we could talk spiritually, and she'll say, "Oh, that's a solar flare or moon flare, something." What? What are you looking at me like that for?
Oh my gosh, not to change the subject, but sorry, when I have these epiphanies, it's like, ding. So
Wow, you should have saw that look.
Oh, she gave you a look.
And
Too.
look, you guys got red faces too. It's like, what the heck? We all held our breath because
I know.
Cyndee had a thought.
Well, and not to really get into it because we're going to do a podcast on synchronicities. That's our next one coming up between Rod and I. And but my gosh, Rod had for a couple days there, recently this week I think it was. He kept hearing the name Anthony, or like getting his car fixed. Everybody he talked to that was car related was Anthony,
Wow.
and it's like, oh my gosh, I just said the Saint Anthony.
Right, absolutely.
So,
Same thing.
Maybe you
I
should
must
look to
say,
see what's
what I'm missing.
lost and
Interesting.
found. Anyway,
That's good.
But is that crazy?
Interesting.
So my car broke down, so Cyndee got me this mechanic. His name's Anthony. Beautiful guy. Comes and picks my car up and takes it and everything. This guy's awesome. So I call Enterprise to get a car. And I'm on the phone with him, and it's Anthony on the phone, talking to me to get me a car set up and everything. I went to 19th Avenue in Dunlap to pick up my car, and I had Anthony behind the desk, not the same Anthony I talked to on the phone,
Wow.
Anthony behind the desk. Crazy thing is I got a receipt from the Lyft guy that gave me a lift to his name. Here's a receipt from Anthony.
Wow, that's awesome.
So Anthony the car saint?
Anthony the car saint,
Yeah.
yes. Oh my gosh, I'm missing a car. There's got to be a car out there somewhere. You think it could be a red Mercedes?
Oh, that would be beautiful, Rod.
I
if
think
you
that's
owned a
what
red
I'm missing.
Mercedes.
Is a red Mercedes.
You would look good in that.
I think I
Definitely.
look really dapper.
I saw you
Yeah.
for a minute in one.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
That-
awesome.
I was in the passenger side, though, wasn't I?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Sweet.
Free ride.
So anyway, where were we? Cyndee's epiphany that I'm missing something, I guess.
Yeah, well, maybe that was the answer because we kept trying to figure out why Anthony. Things just happen for reasons, obviously. These synchronicities, and
Yeah, Cyndee
maybe
has a
that
son
was.
named Anthony,
I
too.
do. Have a son. Anyway, so we can move forward. Sorry, just
I
like
think
it was a
that
moment.
Fascinating.
That is fascinating. It's really interesting. The look on her face, though, was priceless. It was
No,
just-
but when you
it was
get
like-
those connections, it's
Well,
like,
exactly, yeah.
oh,
It's that aha moment. And that's one of the things is that when I first got into spirituality, that I kept saying I have these aha moments, and I always wondered I wanted to remember things, is I'd write it on a sticky note and I'd place it on in front of me. Spiritually, I'd write, okay, aha, that's my aha moment. I just had an aha moment. And then I started moving in different areas of that until they made the puzzle start working. And it's like, okay, that's another piece of the puzzle that just came together because my sticky notes started working that. Then it went from aha to, oh my gosh, I can't think of the name. It's been so long. USA. USA. And it's like, then now it's an USA movement. It's like, oh my gosh, this USA. And I just think it's just fascinating. So when we have those moments. But it made both your faces red and everything else. It was like,
Sorry.
like she was getting angry with me or something.
No, I know. Right?
So
No, it was just
ready
like
to
the
attack
grand
Rod.
finale, and the fireworks.
it's a reflection off of her.
That's what it was, that bright red.
Well, that's something about revelation knowledge when you suddenly get something. And I think the intuition that I've learned from you guys about listening to your intuition, I was taught that it was wrong to listen to your intuition.
Absolutely. Yep.
Because if it's not in the Bible, it ain't real. That was just the mantra that I was taught.
Absolutely.
And so I think when you're hearing something within you and you're like, oh, I feel like I should say this or I should do this, those are the things that you probably need to do.
Yep.
You need to say or you need to act on. Especially if that is a motivation that's, a kind, loving motivation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And sorry,
No,
because
it's
when
fine.
you do listen to your higher self, or they call that quote unquote the voice,
Mhm.
cool things can happen. Seriously, you can start manifesting and things will come your way. Just quick little story. I was at Walmart one day and they were selling tickets to win a Blu-ray. So I bought tickets and they were going to go help, children, buying the tickets. I think it was to help children. And so, and they had a couple other things you put your ticket in, but I heard in my head or whatever, you'll put that extra ticket in there because I bought 11 or something, I don't know. And I put that extra ticket in there and I won the Blu-ray. I was the winner.
Nice.
So it was like, had I just missed that, then obviously I wouldn't have won. But I listened to it, and I think it was a test for me at the same time going, look, you're here, we're here, listen, and respect that and honor that, what you do have within. Anyways, the Blu-ray was really awesome.
Oh, that's good.
Exactly.
Cool.
Do I won't mention the name of the religion there, but there's a religion that I checked it out. I checked all the religions out.
Mhm.
I don't make fun of anyone. I love all religions because each one has their own little thing about it. But there's a religion that believes that we are our own gods and we are our own God. And as a God, we should be able to have all these powers and do these things and everything else. Well, I think that's fantastic. In a sense, I picked that up, and I think that's true, that we do have that power within us, the manifestation and everything. But it's always when we're on. It's really interesting is when Cyndee and I are like really working on something and we're not really here, we'll go to like Fry's or Walmart or something like that, that nobody really talks to us. It's like we're just kind of like nobodies. But when we're up and we're excited about something, we're happy and we're talking and we're smiling, that people come up and start talking to us. And the fry manager comes up to us the other day, and we're just having a good old time. He's talking about, you got to try this spice. Oh, what are you guys having tonight? And everything else. Try this. Oh, you should try it. And then all of a sudden, there's other people that start coming. It was really nice. You have to know that when your energy's high, people want to be around you. It's like drawing moths to a flame. And that's what it is. And we're not burning these people. We're just filling them. I love this. They know there's something there.
Yeah.
So when you're on, you're on. And I think we talked about crystals. I think Cyndee and I share a crystal. When we're on and the crystals are light, people are drawn to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I think you guys have that too.
Well, there's just something about that magnetism, and you being practitioners of energy work. I mean, you live in that realm where you can sense and you can feel, and other people are drawn to that.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, your energy or your aura just expands, and the colors that emanate from that is just beautiful and lovely. And you're right. You can walk down the aisle of a store or something or anywhere, and people just suddenly looking at you like you have something on you, but you really don't. What you have on you, I guess, let's just say, is this wonder, this light that is beaming from you. And people are like, whoa, what am I seeing or feeling as they walk by, and they just want to smile, but maybe at the moment you're not realizing you could be in that moment of this, grandeur within, this feeling within, this love within, this brightness within. You may just be feeling normal, let's just say, but there's something that's coming off of you that this people's around you are, catching on to, and they just like, ooh.
That's good. That's kind of like that vibration.
Totally.
When you hit that certain vibrational thing, you're like, oh. When you're next to someone, you're like, I really like that person. And you find out there's a lot of commonalities. It's kind of uncanny how that happens.
Oh, it is. It is. It's funny. It's interesting. Think about this in the past, that you find couples that if you go out with couples, the wives get along, the husbands just are just there, usually.
Sure.
Or the husbands get along and the wives are just there.
Yeah.
It's like it's really hard to find a match together unless they are also sparks, or they also are crystal people that they carry crystals around, because now there's a commonality with all four of them.
Mm-hmm.
They agree on things, they feel things, they know things, and they speak of a higher self. And it's really awesome to listen to people that speak of a higher self.
Mm-hmm.
I love swimming in the deep end, and that means I love talking to people with deep conversations. I love these questions that I ask you guys. Is that cool?
Something that I really liked from my religious background is that sense of community. I mean, there's a lot of things that I was taught, and there's a lot of baggage that I have to deal with. But there was such a sense of community, that thing that you talked about where someone was ill or had a kid or had been in the hospital, people brought them food, mowed their lawns. And, I think that's what people look for today. And I know in the spiritual community, there's things like Meetup, and I'll go to a Meetup group and I'll find, like, oh, you guys are weird like me. You believe this weird thing. Cool.
Absolutely.
Tell me more about what you've learned.
Yep.
And it's just so much fun to be able to find other people and learn and grow, because you don't know what you don't know until somebody gives you a new idea.
Right.
It's true. As a teenager, I was 16 or 17 years old and waking, like in that wake and sleep mode, at the morning time. It came to me to have a personalized plate, and it came to me, I don't know where, and I don't question it, as why be normal? And so when I woke up that morning, I really woke up, I went to my mom, and at the time, she actually was the supervisor at MVD for specialized plates.
Oh, wow.
So lucky me. So I'm like, Mom, I want this license plate, I want it to be widely normal. And so she went to work that day, and sure enough, she filled out paperwork, blah, blah, blah. And it's funny, because then the following week, a guy had come into the office and wanted the same thing. She's like, oh, sorry, my daughter already has it. But what I really want to say, my point here, I should say, is that you're right. I didn't know back then that I was going to be, let's just say, as we call it, weird.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not really weird. We're unique and beautiful and special.
Oh,
we
no,
didn't
you're
know that.
weird. Yeah.
But I am totally weird. Why be normal? Whatever normal is.
Yeah.
But isn't that interesting? I had no idea why I even chose that, or why the universe, brought
cool.
that plate to me. But I've had it ever since, and I still have it. So it's remarculous.
What was
Remarculous.
Remarculous.
Is that remarculous?
It is now.
It's a new word.
It's the Cyndee
It's the
word
word
now.
of the day. Remarculous.
That one needs to go in the new dictionary.
Okay.
It does.
The urban. Yep.
I like it.
The Cyndee dictionary. Oh my gosh. Well, I came up with a company 3-4 years ago. It's called the Lyman's Terms, because I make up words.
Yeah.
So I call it the Lyman's Terms.
Yeah.
I can make up words.
Nice.
It's like, I feel, because I've channeled so long in my life, that things come out of my mouth as a child, even, that I was like, where'd that come from? And you just allow it to, But it's all about love. I never hurt anybody with my words. It was always about love. And I found out that it's kind of interesting is that something else just popped in my head. It's interesting. Wow. So anyway, I found out as a child, that I would channel these stuff. I didn't know where it was coming from or anything else. I just allowed it to come. And I never hurt anybody in any which way, shape, or form. And that's what Grandpa said, speak from your heart, and you're not going to hurt anybody. Channeling is a huge thing for all of us. And I think that's part of who we are. We've known that the words that come out of our mouth sometimes aren't our own.
Yeah.
Yes. There was a whole nother path that I had that popped up. That was weird.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cyndee, for setting that tone today.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. Wow.
So now we've got a revelation from Rod.
Yeah. It's a revelation from Rod. No, I can't share this one. No, just kidding. So I have another question. Drinking was a question that was asked by a couple of our listeners. And Cyndee actually answered the question about drinking that. And the thing was, 2 days ago, I got somebody saying, well, to me, drinking is a sin. And I put it back to them. I says, I'm not questioning anything that people believe in or anything. It's past is past, present is present, whatever you guys want to believe in that. I said, but why do they use wine in church? And I'll tell you her side of it after. What do you think of that? Why do they use wine in church if drinking is such a sin?
Well, from what I remember as a youngin' going to church, it was the blood of Christ, right? The blood
of
if
Christ
he
gave
can turn water to wine, then there must be something okay with it.
And that was your answer, by the way.
Yes, that was my answer. And
Yes.
plus, it's red wine has antioxidants, so
Right.
it's healthy for you too, right?
Yep. Very good. It's a fruit. Yeah.
Why? I mean, obviously, it came from the Bible. So that's, I'm sure, why they use it. But why is it a sin? I could never reconcile that myself. And especially now, because I really view, everything is spiritual.
Right. Absolutely.
And so when you start looking at things that way, and you start going back to what we began to talk about with what is sin, right? Well, again, it becomes, well, it's when it's out of balance.
Right.
Whenever you emotionally, physically, spiritually are out of balance, that's when you get into that area.
Right.
And alcohol's no different than that.
Absolutely. Dave?
Yeah, we get into that binary system. It's either this way or it's that way. That's all there is.
Right.
And, I was raised in that system where it was like, oh, it's a sin to drink alcohol. I'm like, well, it's in the Bible. Jesus made alcohol and water into wine and all that. But that was never satisfactory. I don't feel like we have to live in a system of if you do this, you'll get a reward. But if you do this, you'll get punishment. I think that whole thing, is it a sin, goes back to that fear-based trap, that system of belief where if you do something bad, then something bad will happen to you. And I don't want any part of that. So is it a sin? Well, if it's a sin to you, then don't drink. I like to have a beer and go watch a football game.
Absolutely. Well, so the idea of sin, what we came up with, is it's about love. It's about being out of balance, without love and being out of balance. Then, what does that have to do with drinking? I don't know. That's the thing is that it does, calms you down a little bit, but it does cause some issues in your body too, overindulgence of it. That's what the whole thing is. Too much. Now, her thing says that she's told me that her answer back is it's the elite that is part of God that gets to drink the wine.
Wow.
The elite that is part of God gets to drink the wine. Now, I don't like to get into religious stuff. I'm not arguing with anybody. I listen, I learn from everybody. I'm not saying what she thinks is wrong. I would not say that at all. That's what she believes, and that's what she thinks. So the concept is that's what she believes, that's what she's going to believe. Me, myself, I'll do like Dave. I'll have a couple beers. I'm okay with that.
I agree. When they make a drink called a cosmopolitan, it's got to come from somewhere good.
Cosmopolitan. The hell? I thought it was a magazine. What is the Cosmopolitan?
Oh, well, let me tell you. Have you ever had one, DL?
Oh, yes.
Yes, they're really mighty delicious, actually. And just saying, Sex in the City, the show, used to always drink them.
That's a good one.
So let's have a cheers.
All right,
Cheers. Our cups of water.
I hope my water turns to wine now.
Water,
Thank
The
you.
wine test.
Oh, that's
Anyway.
good.
So,
I think, honestly, sorry, I mean,
no, that's all right.
everything in moderation. I don't care if it's sugars or foods or drinks or whatever it is, everything in moderation. It could be, even, being so crazy about cleaning your house and have it so it's, perfectly clean. Everything has got to be in moderation. If things are not, if you're a little too much of this or a little too much of that, then there's an imbalance, I feel, within you. And, I think extreme things of anything is obviously not that healthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well said.
that's just the design of life. And really one of the life lessons I think we all kind of work through, lessons can be not a fun term to some people, but it's one of the things that it seems we have to learn in life.
Yep,
when
absolutely.
we're a kid and we want to eat so much candy, what happens? We get a tummy ache. Okay, because we're out of balance, but I can have a couple pieces and I'm okay.
Right,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah,
good.
there you go.
Very beautiful. I'm sorry to say this, guys. We got to wrap this up. Do you know it's been an hour already?
No
Wow.
way.
Time flies.
Seriously,
Wow.
my gosh, we had so much fun, didn't we? I love this. We got to do this again.
This is good.
Thank you
Listen.
so much for having us on the show.
No,
This was a
absolutely.
blast.
Absolutely. You guys are a blast, too. They have.
Yeah, it was really great. Dave, I am inspired by you to, take those leaps and bounds in the faith and true faith and do your exploration here in the spiritual realm. And I hope and I believe that you'll find that it's obviously way different than the other. And I'm not just seeing the other, but to me, it's a more beautiful place. It's more blissful. It's comforting. It's peace within.
Yeah.
And you will find that true love and peace within.
Absolutely.
That's good. Yeah, I'm finding that heaven and hell are states of being, not places that you go to. And you get to choose. Do you want heaven now or do you want hell now in your life? And that's where I'm choosing to enjoy the ride and to love the life I live.
I'm all about that, too. Joy.
As it
Go
is
with-
above, it is below.
Absolutely. The infinity sign. As above, as below. Thank you, guys. Gail, thank you so much for having me on, being here, being gracious hosts and everything else, and serving me such fine water. We'd like to Thank you guys for letting us use your studio. It's a beautiful studio.
It
by the
is
way.
very
I
beautiful,
love
and
it.
the equipment's amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
there's some crazy stuff that goes on. You guys have some energy that's inside this room here alone, which is amazing. And I think with all the electronics, then I think the spirits are being drawn to it. So I watched that bamboo thing move like 3-4 times. It's just amazing. I love this.
That's awesome.
Yep, Dave, pleasure, man. We got to work some more together. I love having you here and being on our show. And of course, Cinderella. It's always a pleasure to having you beside
Thank
me.
you.
Love it, love it, love it. We're doing really well on iTunes. We're maintaining like top 10, and I'm really excited about this. So let's keep this going. Dave, one more time, the website where they can see you.
ExploringTheHumanJourney.com.
And it's beautiful. Wait until you guys see it. Man. So everybody, have a pleasant night and have a pleasant time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.